Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Strategic back again. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of True Crime with Strategic. I appreciate you guys for joining me in this impromptu live. I'm going to be honest with you, I actually wasn't planning on going live today. There's some projects I want to work on for the show. The research crew is working very hard on a special, and I've been saying I wanted to do a special for a very long time, and I just never got around to it because this is my element, talking live to you guys, just doing live shows. That's why you get the majority of your shows are from me are lives. Like, this is when I'm comfortable, but I've always wanted to do documentary style shows, and so we're working on that right now. We have a very tragic story that we're putting together, and today was going to be the day that I do the audio for that, kind of like start laying down tracks, etc., really getting the storyboard together. But I saw this pop up, this unfortunate and tragic story of, I mean, wow. So first of all, a family lost their son due to a police involved shooting. And then the father went and killed a deputy as retaliation. And there's so much that's a part of this that I want to just bring to the forefront from you guys. We're going to stay on this story. We're going to put more out as it comes, as it's made available. But I wanted to give you guys an unbiased opinion because there's just a lot of hate that's circulating because of the story. But also a lot has surprised me because most people don't believe that what the father did was correct. And that did surprise me because we're so polarized that I pretty much expected us to be separated on racial lines. And that's just not really the case. The more I dig, the more I see the majority of people from all races, creeds, and backgrounds saying that this was wrong. It was not right what the father did to that deputy. That deputy was an innocent person that had nothing to do with the passing of that man's son. But I want to go ahead and play some video for you guys, give you guys some information. Make sure you guys are squared away, up to date. It's all good. For the people who are members of the Patreon, just know that I'm dropping some videos on it. It's going to really break down the Kilmar Abreu situation in an unbiased nature. Just give you the facts, let you see what's really going on so you can make choices on what to believe for yourself. So we got a lot going on in strategic land. Make sure that you're locked in. Make sure you hit that like button on your way into the building. Make sure that you have all your notifications set to all so that when I drop a video, you are notified of it. You can come through, you can show love and support the channel. I appreciate you guys immensely. So let's get into this, man. Let me go ahead and hook everything up and let's do it. Wow. So first, let's start off with a little article, kind of get you guys up to speed. The New York Post says, horror chain of events in Ohio as a man charged with killing deputy day after cops killed his son. Twin tragedies unfolded. So the father's name is Rodney Hinton Jr. And his son's name is Ryan Hinton, okay? So twin tragedies unfolded in less than 24 hours in Ohio this week after a teen was shot and killed by Cincinnati police, and his father then allegedly mowed down a retired sheriff's deputy with his car after being shown footage of his son's death, a family lawyer told the Post, right? So this deputy had retired recently, but he was working, I guess, like part-time or per diem, volunteering for the sheriff's department. So he was in uniform and he was doing traffic duty, but he's just basically continuing to help out his community as he's enjoying his retirement, right? This sheriff had nothing to do, once again, nothing to do with the shooting of Ryan Hinton. So Rodney Hinton Jr. appeared in court Saturday to face an aggravated murder charge and the death of the deputy, prosecutors said. On Friday morning, 2 hours before the deputy was struck and killed, Hinton Jr., 38, had gone with family members to meet with Cincinnati Police Chief Teresa A. Thied. I can't pronounce her name, but hopefully with some of the video that we watched, they'll definitely let us know how to pronounce it, to view police body cam footage of the death of his son, Ryan, right? Ryan Hinton and 3 others were accused of stealing a car in the East Price Hill section of Cincinnati Thursday. when officers approached the stolen vehicle, which the owner had outfitted with a tracking device, according to reports. Now, some of the family members are saying that the car wasn't stolen, that the car was being leased or rented, and that the owner or the possessor of the vehicle failed to make payments. And so the lease owner filed a stolen car report. So I'm not sure at this time if this was like, you didn't pay your bill, we want our car back type stolen car, which is, I mean, it's still a stolen car, right? If it's not yours, you didn't pay for it, you got to give it back. But it does change it a little bit in terms of the level of violence, right, that people have to commit to steal a car. So I don't know if it's a return the car because you didn't pay for it, or if it's like a armed robbery, give me your car, carjacking, or if it's you left your keys in the car and these strangers just hopped in and drove away. I don't know, but the car was stolen. It was reported stolen. Okay, so let's keep going. The teens immediately began to run. Ryan, by the way, the young man who was shot by Cincinnati police, was 18 years old. Teens immediately began to run. Footage showed police believe Ryan Hinton, 18, was armed and opened fire, fatally shooting him. Hinton family attorney Michael Wright told the Post. Now, people are saying that you can't really see from the body-worn camera if Hinton was pointing the gun at police officers. And I watched the body-worn camera. It is very blurry. It's hard to see because the officer's running towards Hinton. But what does matter is that a gun was found there. And I see Scrappy's in the building. He says it doesn't matter. It's stolen. I'm not in any way trying to mitigate whether the police could have used the deadly force that they used or not. I was just curious as to how the car was stolen, because facts do matter. But I just want to clarify, I'm not in any way saying that how it's stolen lessens the severity of the fact that it was stolen. So if I wasn't clear about that, remember, I'm talking off the top of my dome. I apologize, you guys. There's no script here. This is unfiltered. Let's just put that down there and lay that down in the sand. It doesn't matter how it was stolen. It was stolen. But as a true crime aficionado and a detective, I'm just curious as to how it was stolen. Okay. But good points, Scrappy. Thanks for putting that out there. I just need to clarify. All right. So the teens immediately began to run. But like I was saying, they did find a gun on the scene right next to Ryan Hinton's body. They found the gun. The gun was there, right? So whether he pointed the gun or not, I don't know. They'll have to figure that out through the course of the investigation. But the gun was in the possession of Ryan Hinton, and the gun was not removed from his body and thrown on the ground. The gun fell right after he was shot. So that means he had to have had the gun in his hand, right? So that's what we're working with. Those are facts. Facts are facts, right? So the father left the room before he even saw the end of the video, Wright told the Post. He was very upset, very distraught. Watching your son being killed, I can't imagine that pain. That's problematic for me because, first of all, I can't judge what he did at that moment because he's a grieving father, and only unless you're in that person's situation could you fathom. You'd never understand because you're not that person. Nobody deals with things the same way, so you can never understand what somebody else is feeling. But you could, how should I say? You could basically say, well, I have an idea how you feel, right? I can empathize with you because I've been in a similar situation. So I can't judge this guy. But it is unfortunate that he didn't watch the entire video because who knows, maybe something would have been probative that would have reshaped his thought process and made him not do what he did. But let's keep going. The officer who opened fire said Ryan Hinton had pointed the weapon at him. The teen was shot twice in the chest and arm. Thieck said in a news conference, she said the weapon was loaded, but there was no indication he shot at police. The officer who shot Hinton Jr. is on paid administrative leave for a week while the department reviews the incident, Wright said. Wright, a close friend of civil rights attorney Ben Crump, said the Hinton family hired him to investigate the shooting and that the family viewed only a short clip of the incident. The Hintons are African American. The retired deputy sheriff who died in a hospital is believed to be white. Looks like that might be a hate crime to me. So this is the car. This is the still from the body-worn camera. It's very blurry. It doesn't get any better. We'll see the actual footage, but it doesn't get any better. And this is the aftermath of the father, Rodney, running down that deputy. Look how he toasted his car. And for a second, he was actually in critical condition. He's out now. Obviously, he made his court appearance, but he was actually in critical condition. That's how fast and hard he rammed this deputy that he did not even have regard for his own life and safety. The deputy had retired in December, but returned for a gig directing traffic near the University of Cincinnati campus during graduation ceremonies when Rodney Hinton Jr. struck and killed him, Cincinnati police told local media. Other deputies crowded the courtroom Saturday in support of their fallen colleague, the Cincinnati Enquirer reported. Judge Tyrone Yates set no bond for Hinton Jr., who is next due in court on Tuesday. Okay, so now let's go ahead and watch some video.
The separate session of the Hamilton County Municipal Court is now in session. Judge Tyrone Yates is presiding this morning. We ask that you turn off all cell phones. You may be seated. Please remain quiet during all proceedings.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. First case load out to Rodney Hinton.
Okay, thank you. Okay, can you stand by your public defender?
I think I spent a lot of time with inmates. 12 years I worked with inmates when I was in state corrections before joining the police force. And there's this time where 90% of inmates, even the ex-offenders, the murderer, it doesn't matter. The big kingpin drug dealers, the gang members, there come a point in their sentence where they regret what they did. I'm not going to say it's remorse. Sometimes it's remorse. Sometimes it's, wow, I made a big mistake. I should have never made those choices. I wish I'd have made different choices and made a better life for myself. Sometimes it's just regret of just being caught. But whether it's regret or remorse, which are two separate things, they all come to that realization. I think he's going to get to that point. I think right now he's justifying in his mind that it was an eye for an eye, and that somehow he's a freedom fighter or he achieved his own form of justice. But I think in time, this man is going to think about how his actions didn't just affect him, but affected his family and caused more trauma than it did bring resolution. Right now, his wife, his baby mama, whatever, I did not research whether he's married or whatever to the mother of Hinton, but they're all now dealing with a double tragedy. They're dealing with the tragedy that their son was killed by police, presumably from making a bad choice, which was to either steal or participate in the stealing of a car. And B, they're now dealing with the fact that their loved one, the man, the patriarch of the home, is going to probably spend the rest of his life in prison for his retaliatory acts, which is now going to cause even more stress on the family. The loss of a son and the loss of a father. Unbelievable. Let's keep going. Not only that, but more so than ever, because the weapon of choice was a car. Because a weapon of choice was a car. Don't get me wrong. Any weapon would make it, you can still sue, right? But because a weapon of choice was a car, now the family definitely have to deal with a civil lawsuit that's probably going to they're going to get paid out from his car insurance if he had car insurance, but they're also going to go after the family's personal assets, his personal assets as well. So now they're going to be hurting emotionally, spiritually, and financially because of his actions. But let's keep going.
Good morning, Mr. Hinton. Good morning.
And you see the smug look on his face, like, I get it, but he's convincing himself that he did something right. I don't think that he needed to be smug. I think he could have had more of a somber disposition, because I would hope that he would believe that at the moment he felt like he had to do it because of his grief, but it seems like he's cold-blooded right now. That's what it seems like. The circumstances would make us believe that he had temporary insanity and went into a blind rage because of the loss and the grief of losing his son. But the smirking and the stoic face makes it seem like he enjoyed what he did, and he's cold-blooded and calculated. That's just my opinion.
He said good morning, Judge. He's very soft-spoken.
Okay, all right. Thank you. All right, anything as to probable cause?
Your Honor, we'll waive probable cause this morning. I have submitted designations for John Kennedy and Timothy Bignell. They will be the attorneys of record handling Mr. Hinton's case. I'll be handling the arraignment this morning.
All right, thank you. Mr. Prosecutor, or anything as to bond?
As to bond, Your Honor, thank you. Your Honor, we understand this is a very...
Wow. This attorney was kind of rude to the judge there. I mean, the judge was flying through and he did have additional stuff, but typically attorneys are a little bit more cordial towards the judge. Like, no, excuse me, judge. We do have one more thing. He's like, wait, buddy. I'm still talking here, buddy. Wow. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, the judge is the one who determines the bond. You might want to be a little bit more cordial since your client's life or their future, their freedom hangs in the balance at this moment.
very serious, very terrible charge that Mr. Hinton is facing. He has a risk, but he does not have a history, Judge. He has no felonies in his record. His risk assessment score was a 1. He had no juvenile record. He works at UDF. He's married. He's a father. He's a graduate of Purcell Marion. I understand that this is an emotionally charged situation. I understand that Mr. Hinton's son may have been killed by the police earlier in the week. There was a review of that video.
All right, so I just looked that up real quick. Purcell Marion is a high school, so he doesn't have a college education. Doesn't mean anything. You don't have to have a college education. I just thought that was like a university or something like that. And as somebody said in the chat, like this accomplished absolutely nothing. Like this guy, by all accounts, was a family man. We just heard it. He's not a criminal. He has a juvenile record, but they shouldn't even be talking about that. Well, maybe they have a different rules and laws in that state. But in New York State, your juvenile record gets wiped and sealed. So when you're adult, you don't ever have to answer to the things that you did when you were a juvenile, so long as they're not major crimes, right? So basically, he's a grown man. We shouldn't even be talking about when he's a juvenile. And that's his attorney saying that, by the way. Okay, so don't people say, oh, they always do that. No, that's his attorney that's saying that, okay? Not the court. That's his attorney. But what I'm trying to say is that he was a family man. Was he a good dad? I don't know, but he was a family man and he threw it all away. So now he has other kids that will now suffer and his wife that will now suffer because of his blind rage and poor decision making. Let's keep going.
I understand that there is a lot of sadness and a lot of anger in this room right now, but in the community at large.
Philip and Bruston said, will the car insurance have to pay when it's proven that it was not an accident, but he used the car as a weapon? That's a good question. It's something that would probably be litigated. But in America, most often the car insurance will have to pay, even if you are negligent. Just like drunk driving, when those drunk drivers get into car accidents, their insurance still has to pay. So in America, it's a little different than Europe, Philip. Most likely, they will have to pay. Let's keep going.
And we'll just ask the court to set a reasonable bond in light of everything to allow the constitutional process to play out.
All right, thank you. Andy, you've given me a pre-trial services sheet. Is that right this morning? All right, the court has had a chance to review that and his past history. Is there anything from the state through the prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor. Ryan Nelson on behalf of the
Could
prosecution.
you give us more volume, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Ryan Nelson on behalf of the prosecution. What we believe that the evidence will show is that yesterday, on about the 2nd of May, the defendant was traveling, I believe it would be eastbound on Martin Luther King Avenue. at MLK, I believe at Burnett Woods, at the intersection, I believe immediately north to the rear entrance of the University of Cincinnati. The defendant stops his car. The defendant, in a way that was calculated and premeditated, lined up his car, deliberately accelerated his car, and purposely caused the death of an on-duty deputy sheriff who was doing a detail at that intersection. As such, we are going to be seeking indictment for aggravated murder, and we would request, in accordance with ORC 2937-222, for a no bond hearing. That rule requires that hearing be set within 3 business days, so we are seeking to set that date on the 6th of May of 2025. That will be next Tuesday.
Thank you so much. We are leaving.
All right, so interesting stuff here. I was just asking myself, why is the prosecutor sitting? I don't know if he has an issue or something, but normally they would stand for when they're talking like that. Anyway, big shout out to Galen with a 1999 super chat. Says, thank you, Strategic, for spending time educating us. I'm also really loving the Patreon. I don't know if you meant to write that twice, but I love it. It really emphasized what we do on the Patreon. So thank you so much for supporting me and for being a part of the Patreon. I'm so happy that you are enjoying it and appreciating the extra content that we put on that platform. You are amazing. Auntie Ree says, I think the car insurance will have to pay for the damage done to the property, the other vehicle, and the driver of the other vehicle. They won't have to pay for his injuries if he's convicted. Oh, well, I don't care about his injuries. That's a good point. But certainly everything else is what matters. And I agree with that. Like, they would have to pay for all that other stuff, but they may not cover him and indemnify him. So what might end up happening is they will start being like a percentage of responsibility. So insurance company might have to pay this percentage, and he might be personally liable for that percentage. So he's not indemnified, where the car insurance company is paying for absolutely everything. Let's keep going. Anything else? Ooh, okay, so let's keep going. We got a few more things that I want to play for you guys. So I believe this is going to be the body-worn camera. Let's check this one out.
We are leading the way on that breaking news today. Cincinnati police sharing new details about a chase that led to a suspect being shot and killed by police over in East Price Hill.
The mayor and Cincinnati's police chief sharing body camera video of the incident. WLWT News 5's Danielle Didak heard from Chief Thigi directly. Danielle, what did that video show?
Yeah, Stephen, this all unfolded very, very quickly. We're talking about 6 seconds from the time that officer got out of his vehicle until he shot and killed that armed suspect. So I want to have you take a look at some of this video as I explain to you what Chief Thigi broke down for us today. So she said this all started with a stolen Kia out of Edgewood, Kentucky that was spotted at the complex on Warsaw Avenue. When officers arrived, they saw 4 suspects take off running. Thigi said officers took different suspects to follow. One suspect was armed with a gun, and at one point, with officers saying he did hit the ground and that gun hit the ground. That person then ran between the dumpsters, and officers yelled out that that person had a gun. Another officer who was chasing another person at the time came in contact with that armed suspect, and that's when that officer fired off 4 to 5 shots. That man was hit twice and then was given medical care right away, but he did die. Officers did find a gun on him with an extended magazine and another in his pocket.
Unfortunately, they
found the magazine in his pocket, and they found the weapon next to him. It's very sad, man. This is the thing. Like, as parents, we need to find a way to intervene and to save our children from being in this situation. Like, these situations are so complicated, right? We're now breaking down a 6-second interaction between a police officer and a teenager who had his whole life ahead of him. And we're breaking down this situation to determine whether this officer was justified in shooting somebody who had an illegal firearm, right? Was the gun up? Was the gun down? Was the gun in his pocket? Was the gun in his hand? What direction was he facing when the officer fired on him? All these things we need to now figure out as a society, when if we would have figured out the most easy thing, the easier thing, this is the most difficult thing right here. Decisions on if the killing of Ryan was justified or not. Decision on if the officer should be given a medal or if he should be given criminal charges. These are complicated concepts that we now have to fish through, when the easier road for us to have traveled is to have reached this young man his entire life before he got to that moment where he made the poor decision of A, being in a stolen vehicle, and B, possessing a firearm in that stolen vehicle on his person. Wouldn't it have been more easier to be better parents, more easier to put your child into sports, put your child into mentorships, more easier to work your butt off and maybe try and, we can't all be rich, we can't all be middle class, but maybe put yourself to live on the edge of the hood rather in the middle of the hood. I'm not even saying that this is his particular story because I don't know. I'm just talking in general, right? Like, we could have reached this young man and hopefully never allowed him to get to this point where he'd make such poor decisions. But we keep losing our youth, and then instead we're just accustomed to picking up the pieces. We're accustomed to figuring it out after the fact. Well, guess what? Ryan is gone and he's never coming back. He's gone, he's never coming back. His family will forever have to live without him. And then his father now goes out there as a vigilante and kills an honorable man who did nothing to Ryan, nothing to Rodney, nothing to the Hintons. Not his mama, not his sister, not his third cousin, not his best friend by proxy, eight degrees of separation. That man, that deputy, retired deputy, had nothing to do with the situation or even the persons involved. And now he lost his life, and now his family's angry. Now his family is pissed off. How many people in Rodney's family is pissed off and now have racial animus against Caucasian people because their son was taken out by a white police officer? How many people now in that deputy's family now have racial animus against black people? Why? Because a black person randomly ran down their loved one in retaliation to a police shooting that their loved one had nothing to do with. It's just a cycle of hate that we keep creating because we aren't paying attention to the details. We aren't focusing on the things that matter the most, which is how do we save the youth? How do we impact and treat mental health in our culture? And how do we heal these racial divides that keep dividing and separating us in this beautiful country? Everybody talk about we need to have a conversation about race. We don't need to have a conversation about race. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been having a conversation about race for 400 years. We need to heal. It's time to heal. It's time to reconcile. It's time to come together, and it's time to move on. I'm not saying that we're at that point yet where we're moving on, but that should be our goal. And just like society and the media spends its time doing social engineering and brainwashing us to believe that our neighbors who are different shades of each other are enemies. We need a coordinated effort from our media, from our influencers, from our celebrities to stop preaching hate and start preaching love. Instead of you watching the news and they're telling you how the police are out there hunting you because of the color of your skin, how about we start talking about how we can stop the violence in our communities, period. Full stop. How we could bridge that gap between policing and citizenry. How we can embrace diversity with fairness, where nobody feels left behind, regardless whether you're white or black. How we could combat all of these forces that are just serving to tear us apart. That's all I want. I just want us to be together. I just want us to be human beings first, Americans second. I just want us to love each other. Anyway, let's keep going, man. I'm sorry. I went on a tangent again.
Potential outcome when you interact with police and you are armed with a weapon, whether it's an edged weapon, a firearm, or if you fail to comply, you're armed and you fail to comply with what an officer says. this is where we end up. And it is unfortunate, it is preventable, and no officer wants to go through this. I don't want families to go.
People saying that it wasn't a stolen car, that it was just a not paid for car. That's what they're saying on Twitter, X, the devil's playground. That's what I call it. I still go on it to get information, but it's the devil's playground. So whatever. This young man wouldn't be dead if he didn't get out that car and run with a gun. Let's say that cop made a mistake and he didn't point the gun, but he saw the gun and he shot it just out of precaution because he didn't want to risk his life one iota. What is a 18-year-old boy doing in a stolen car and running with a gun? You're in this car. It's your car. You didn't pay. I'm just going off of what the family members are saying on Twitter, right? We don't even have to believe them. This car could have been carjacked, stolen. It doesn't matter, right? But I'm going to give them deference and give them the most favorable scenario, which is that the car was not physically taken from anyone. It was a car that belonged to them that they stopped making their payments for. And so therefore it was reported stolen because they refused to return the car. So let's give them the most deference possible. Why are you getting out the car and running for? This could have all been resolved peacefully if each person in that car just stayed in the car and said, listen, it's a misunderstanding. We didn't know that it was reported stolen. Look, I have all the paperwork here. The registration's in my name. The insurance is in my name. I missed a couple of payments. If you want to take the car, take the car. But I'm going to pay the car off anyway. You know, I got my payment coming in the next another month. Whatever. Nobody ran. They're still alive. So let's go a step further. All of them decided to run, but none of them had guns. Most likely, they're still alive. And if they're not alive, if Ryan is still killed, that officer's going to jail because they wouldn't find no gun on Ryan. But that's not what happened. Young man in a stolen vehicle, cops stop the vehicle, they go on a high-speed chase, they finally get out the car, they run, and Ryan has a gun. And we don't see that as a problem as a society. We want to look at all the other isms that exist, but we don't want to acknowledge that fact pattern. Ryan was in a stolen car. Ryan got out the car. Ryan ran from the police. Ryan had a gun. And we wonder why we can't make progress and why Ryans keep dying. And now, because Orion died, a Rodney's going to jail for the rest of his life, and an unnamed deputy's family will have to suffer and live with the consequences of situations their loved one had nothing to do with.
Go through this, but at the end of the day, we have to provide the safest city that we can provide.
Now, Thigi did go on to say that during an interview, the officer said that the suspect pointed a gun at him and he did feel threatened, for his life. Now, we also learned that there was another stolen gun found in that stolen car.
So there was another stolen gun found in a stolen car. Dr. Cattle says that's a free gift to add Patreon, to add True Crime to you guys' Patreon. I don't understand what you mean, Dr. Cataclysm, because I don't know if you could gift people Patreon. That would be cool. But can you please elaborate so I can understand what you're saying? And Tara Bobera says, I'm not excusing what Ryan did, but Ryan was probably scared. This is Ohio. So what you did was doublespeak. You did make an excuse. You made an excuse for something that's inexcusable. And once again, and I'm not coming down on you. I appreciate you being here, supporting my channel, listening to my words. But this is part of the problem. It's part of the problem. There's no excuse to be in a stolen car with stolen guns, one on your person, the other one found inside of the car, and then say, well, you're scared. Well, of course you're scared. You're supposed to be scared. You're doing illegal activity. You're being a menace to society. You have 2 stolen guns. One on your person that got you shot, one inside the car that belonged to probably somebody else who was in that car, and you're in a stolen vehicle. It's not an excuse to be scared when you're doing bad things. And that is a problem why we can't make progress, because people keep, I don't know what it is, if it's something that happened after George Floyd, after 2020, where we're normalizing bad behavior. We're excusing it. We're having empathy for bad guys and criminals. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have empathy for Ryan because he's 18. So regardless of what he's doing, I will have empathy for him because I'm a father. I got a 17-year-old. She's about to be 18 this year. But something happened when the devil put his knee on George Floyd's neck. Something twisted in this world where somehow, some way, the bad guys became good guys. Now, when I looked at George Floyd, I said, this is a tragedy. Oh my God, take your knee off his neck. But it never escaped me that George Floyd was a bad man. So I never worshiped him. I simply said what happened to him was a tragedy and justice must be served. But I never said, well, George Floyd is a role model. Let me paint George Floyd on a building. Let me paint him on a sidewalk. Let me erect a mural for him or a busk. They had busks for him like he was president of the United States. I said George Floyd didn't deserve that. But George Floyd was his victim, and what he deserves is justice. But after that, after George Floyd, all we do now is empathize with bad people, and therefore we never hold them accountable for the terrible choices that they make. And oftentimes these choices hurt innocent people. So once again, not beating up on the commentary. Thank you so much for participating in the chat. If you're new here, because I haven't seen you before, I interact with the chat, so it's not personal. I appreciate you. You're the most important person right now because you're helping me make content. You said something that helped me educate people on my point of view, so please don't take it personally. But this is what I'm saying. He's doing bad things. He's being a menace to society. He's stealing property. He's got stolen guns. What is he planning on doing with those guns? Only God knows. And rather than us hold him accountable for what he did and said, bad Ryan, bad, you should have been better. We say, oh, well, maybe he ran because he was scared. Well, maybe he ran because he was a criminal. And that's what criminals do. They run. But let's keep going.
Lots to unpack here, and we'll have much more coming up for you later on at 4, 5, and 6. Reporting live, Danielle Dindak, WLWT News 5.
Danielle Dindak leading the way for us on this story. Danielle, thank you so much. Now, there were other suspects involved here. 2 of them in that stolen vehicle were eventually apprehended, and they made their first court appearances this morning. Jarrell Austin and DeAnthony Bullocks are accused of receiving stolen property and obstructing official business. A 4th person is still on the run. Austin is being held on a $50,000 bond. Bullocks' bond is set at $40,000.
You see, I mean, this is a travesty. You know, we got to fix this. We have to fix this. I want to go ahead. I want to play for you.
They didn't even get the grief.
So it's like everybody is.
So I was expecting to see a lot of people defending this, but I was very surprised when I went on Twitter, which is basically Beijing's propaganda. Seriously, go on TikTok. Go on TikTok in China, and all you see is science projects and people celebrating educational achievements and stuff like that. And you go on TikTok in America, and it's a whole bunch of degenerate things, right? But we still got to go in these places because it's filled with information. So listen to some of these different points of view, which shocked me because I was expecting a much bigger divide, but it seems like more people are waking up to what's really happening in this world. So listen to this young woman speak about this subject.
It's given their side of the story about the Ryan Hinton who was fatally shot by Cincinnati police on May 1st. He was 18-year-old. He was an 18-year-old that was fleeing a vehicle, supposedly, and somehow he pointed the gun at the police, which they're saying that is a lie. But out of this outcome, his father, Rodney, went and ran over a county sheriff's deputy after viewing body cam of the incident that happened with his son. I think it's unfortunate that Rodney chose to kill an innocent sheriff because you know, I'm all for an eye sometimes in certain situations. You get.
All right, let me pause for 1 second. Dr. Cataclysm, I don't know if your link was able to be viewed because I think we have disabled putting links in the chat because we'll get all those crazy people who'll come in and, you know, they'll try and link those XXX websites and stuff like that when you allow it. So I mean, if you want to email the link to me, I would be able to then repost that link during this live. So if you want to do that real quick, I'll be able to get the link, post it, and make sure people know that it's you who gave that gift membership to the Patreon. I didn't know I could do that. Now that I know, I'll go investigate it, and I will also in the future give some gift memberships to the Patreon. But big shout out to you for even trying. It's really awesome of you, and it's very kind because people love the Patreon. Let's keep going.
You get what I'm saying? But in this situation, that was an innocent sheriff who lost his life because of another police officer. He didn't kill Rodney's son. Another officer did. And so that's unfortunate. It's sad, and I know a lot of people are stating that we're just tired as Black people seeing kid after kid get killed for no reason. And I agree, I am tired, but I'm not approving.
But this is the thing, guys. Like, I agree with what she's saying, and what she's saying is very nuanced, and I'm very proud of her for being able to separate the two, because a lot of people are blinded by their biases and their bigotry, and they can't separate that this deputy that was killed had nothing to do with the shooting of Ryan Hinton. But I am also a man of facts, right? And I wasn't always like that. I grew up thinking that police were all corrupt and racist. I grew up with my own racial animus because I was programmed to think that way from watching the mainstream media. And as I got older and I started realizing how the world really worked, and I really opened my eyes and went to college and got an education and a world-class education, really like understood, studied human nature and came to understand human nature, I started to structure my views based on data, because we're all passionate people, and our passion is powerful. It's powerful enough to cloud your judgment. So when you structure your views based on data, that's when you really start seeing the truth. I'm not saying divorce yourself from your emotion, because there's something that comes with that street smart, that common sense that helps you interpret the data. You can have all the numbers in the world, but if you don't have the ability to interpret the numbers that you have, then all that data is worthless to you. When you do, my point in saying all this, ladies and gentlemen, is when you do the research and you take out your biases and your emotions, what you'll see is that a lot of these narratives just aren't true. Like being tired of police killing young Black men. That's just not true. Police aren't hunting young Black men. The data is very, 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 very clear. The data clearly shows that more Caucasian people are killed every single year by police officers than Black men. The data also shows that only between 10 and 20, it fluctuates between 10 and 20 every year, unarmed Black men are killed by police. Between 10 and 20. Unarmed Black men are killed by police every year. And in the vast majority of those, the person was attacking the cop. They didn't have a gun or a knife on them, so they're considered unarmed. They're attacking the cop. In other instances, they may pretend like they have a weapon. And in those small amount, which is probably often less than 5, in the majority of the time, the police officer is charged with murder. Now, whether that officer is found guilty or not, it's a different story and a different conversation we can have. But the police officer is charged with murder. So this epidemic of Black people being killed by police is just not true. Now, when you look at it proportionally, the amount of, even though it's more unarmed Caucasian people who are killed by police every year, proportionally when matched against size of population, it is a much higher rate for Black people than it is for white people. Now that's sad, isn't it? Right? But when you look at the data again, you understand why it makes sense. It's not that the police are biased and are just hunting Black people. When you look at the rest of the data, you see that although black people make up 14% of the population, people that look like me, unfortunately, due to economics, due to education, due to a history of racism in this country that we are overcoming, that we're working towards fixing now, there's so many factors that both the left is right, factors that the right is right about. We're all right and we're all wrong. But regardless of what the reason is, African Americans, accounting for 14% of the population, make up more than 50% of the homicides and violent crimes that occur in this country. So what does that data tell you? That data tells you that African Americans have more instances than any other race in this country to have contact with police. They also have a higher probability of being engaged in violent criminal conduct when they do encounter the police. Now, we could take that data and we could say, oh man, you know what? We could be racist and we could say, well, black people are just violent. No, you are a racist piece of crap. Black people are not just violent. Okay, we're all human beings. It's culture that makes people violent and economics that makes people violent. Or you could say, well, this is a racist country and they're forcing black people to kill other black people. No, you're an idiot, because nobody could force you to do anything, much less kill another person. Or we could take that data and we could say, what are the root causes of this issue? Is it racism? Is it a genetic propensity for violence? I think both of those things are wrong. I think we could take that data and we could say we need more investment in schools. We need to somehow find a way to bring the value of family back into these low-income communities where mothers and fathers are getting married and having children as a unit, rather than men having children with women and abandoning them and having these women raise these young boys in a single mother home, and these young men don't have a male role model and father figure to teach them how to channel that testosterone, to channel that aggression that naturally is in all men, except for those yuppies that live in Williamsburg. You know, those gentrified guys with the beards and the glasses and the flannel shirts. Those guys don't have any testosterone in them. But for every other guy, we need to learn how to channel that testosterone. Maybe we invest and make sure that all of these low-income schools, if there's one thing that they have, is a computer room that teaches them how to code, a nice basketball gymnasium, and a football stadium so that these kids can have extracurricular activities to keep them off of the streets. Maybe we need to have mental health clinics in poor communities where poor people can have access to quality mental health care. Maybe we should have incentives like a tax write-off when people are married and have children, so that the incentive is for people to live together. Maybe we should have a limit on the amount of assistance that you can get so that people can't think, oh, it's okay, I could just have babies with any random guy who's not going to take care of my kids, because the government is going to take care of them. And maybe if somebody knows that the government is not going to take care of you for more than 5 years, they'll think twice before they have unprotected sex with the local Bloods gang member or the local drug dealer who has 20 other baby mamas that they're not taking care of. Maybe those are the discussions we should have when we see those statistics, rather than A, being racist and saying black people are incapable of being civil, or B, being racist and saying that white people just want to hold black people down. But we're not having those conversations, are we? And since we aren't having those conversations, I think there's another conversation we should be having. And that conversation is, why? Why won't the powers that be allow us to have those conversations? Why, when you watch Fox News, they won't let you have that conversation? And when you switch the channel over to MSNBC, they won't let you have that conversation either. Why? But let's keep going.
Killing an innocent person because of me being tired. If anything, it should have been that person that harmed my child, not somebody differently. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to call yourself doing an eye for an eye. The whole situation is just unfortunate. I feel for that father who lost his son and now he's losing his life, because I'm sure they're going to throw the book at him. and that innocent officer who didn't do anything to his child. So it's just a loss all around. All around it's a loss. Let me know if you guys heard about that incident and what are your thoughts on that. So it's like everybody is giving their side of the story.
All right. So I want to play another one for you.
Now, I don't know if Ryan Hinton had a gun on him when the police shot him. The body cam footage doesn't show him having a gun. You can't even see him at all. But if he did have a gun, and he was in a stolen car, and he did point that gun at the police officers, then I just want to say sometime it's not the police. Sometime it's y'all parenting. Sometime it's y'all kids. That's the problem. Now, his father then went out and killed a retired deputy sheriff because he wanted revenge for his son. Now the family got to deal with a whole nother tragedy in less than 24 hours when they didn't even get to grieve for the first one. You don't even get to grieve yourself. You got to grieve behind bars because what you did in a fit of rage. But did you think? Did you ask yourself, is that your son? Is that who he is? Do you even know your child enough to be able to ask yourself those questions? You know you're going to jail for life when it's 30 plus uniformed officers in court with you and you ain't even made it to trial yet.
Right. Big shout out to this guy, man. He makes perfect sense. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have any moderators in. I just did this impromptu live, so I got to do double duty. Please, I heard somebody say follow the guidelines. Please be respectful, because I don't have time to give warnings and all that stuff. If you end up being a misfit, I'm just going to jettison you out the show. So please do be respectful, because it hurts the channel when people are being disrespectful. The algorithm scans all the comments and they will hurt me, label me as a bad show that doesn't respect the guidelines if my audience is not respecting the guidelines. So please do show that love. Let's keep going.
You know you're going to jail for life. When they release the body cam footage of the shooting in less than 24 hours, they never do that whether they right or wrong. Gotta control your emotions as a man. My condolences to the family of the sheriff. He had nothing to do with this. He was out there helping at the University of Cincinnati. Students was graduating there. They was preparing, doing things. And this man, Rodney, seen him and turned a happy moment into a tragedy. Now, I don't know if Ryan Hinton had a gun on him when the police shot him. The body cam footage doesn't show him having a gun.
All right, so now let's go to the Devil's Playground, which is basically Twitter. Let's see what this young lady has to say.
All right, it's Saturday afternoon, and I am here at the corner of Burnett Woods Drive.
It must be raining because she's got water all over her glasses.
And Martin Luther King Jr. Drive in Cincinnati. And I'm going to show you a little bit of what happened yesterday around 1 p.m. Really, really awful. A man named Rodney Hinton Jr., his son, the day before, had been stopped by Cincinnati police in a stolen vehicle. And he had a firearm, according to Cincinnati police. A Cincinnati police officer shot and killed Rodney Hinton Jr.'s son. He's an 18-year-old guy. So police say that Rodney Hinton decided he was going to possibly take out another cop. So Rodney Hinton Jr., according to what we're being told, he's a 38-year-old man, drove his car yesterday. And here's where this happened. Right here. And I'll take you over there in a second. Drove his car going, I think, 50, 60 miles per hour.
Wow,
into a Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy. Totally unrelated, totally different sheriff's office, or totally different law enforcement agency. Into a sheriff's deputy who was directing traffic here. This is right by the University of Cincinnati. So drove his vehicle into this sheriff's deputy who then later passed away. Rodney Hinton Jr. was in court this morning. He is charged with aggravated murder. The Hamilton County prosecutor, Connie Pillich, says that basically they will throw the full force of the law at this guy.
So while this lady's talking, I'm over on the Patreon trying to find a way to give you guys a gift membership, just like Dr. Cataclysm did. So, yeah, bear with me. I love when people report from the ground, so I appreciate what she's doing. So just bear with me while we listen to her, because I'm actually trying to see if I can hook you guys up.
If this is indeed deemed to have been an intentional act, which at this point, police believe it was an intentional act. So this is a developing story. I'm going to be covering it, staying on top of it. Rodney Hinton Jr. was transferred to the Claremont County Jail from the Hamilton County Jail. You can understand why. There was like a wall of sheriff's deputies in court this morning. It was quite a sight. Let me show you. This is like what has kind of developed here at the scene of what happened. There's some flowers and stuff like that. So there you go. The deputy's name isn't being released just yet, so I'm not going to put it out there, although I do know his name. But I'll give you more information when I get it, and check in with you soon.
All right, so I have no idea how to give the gift membership. I will have to research it, do a quick Google whatever. But certainly we'll figure it out, because I think it's really cool to be able to give you guys gift memberships. I've sent the URL for the membership gift link. Oh, okay. So let me go ahead and click that, and hopefully we could, get you guys squared away. I got that, Dr. C. I said Dr. K. Dr. C. Wow. How does Dr. Cataclysm know how to work my Patreon better than me? Pathetic strategic. All right, so what I'm doing, how many gifts do you want to purchase? I'll say 5, because I'm not rich, I'm brokey. So who's gifting it from? Let's get my name out there. Let's put strategic, because I have my full name in there. Strategic. I'll be stupid. Strategic Daddy. No, let's switch that around. Daddy Strategic. I'm such a naughty boy. So if you got my gift membership, so make sure you thank Daddy Strategic. Go to payment. You can create your own gift membership in the promotions tab. Okay, so whatever. Add gifts. Okay, gifts are limited to new free cancel members. Okay. So there you go. I'm doing it right now. You guys are gonna get 5 lucky people. Is gonna get themselves a gift membership. All right, what are you? We're gonna do the $5 tier, which is the only tier. But I'm gonna add a tier for anybody who wants to support more. But $5 is it. You'll never have to pay more than 5 if you don't want to. How many months? Just 1 month. Don't be greedy. How many people can claim it? 5 people. Whoa, this is gonna be. Hold on here. Let me go to the chat. This is going to be the mad dash. Understand, there's 5 slots. So when I drop that link in this chat, the first 5 people to claim it will get that membership. So it's going to be a mad dash. Who's going to click the link first? Okay. This is going to be fun. Here we go. Who's going to click the link first when I drop it? So let me keep going. Personalized message. All right, and promotion start date. Okay, and that's it. We don't even need an end date, because it's gonna expire as soon as we drop it. All right, but we'll do an end date just in case. I don't keep charging me. This is what we got going on here. All right, 12:35 p.m. All right, create gift link. Gift duration must be at least 1 hour. 1. Okay, here we go. All right. Now, how do I access this? Here we go. Here's the link. All right, I'm about to drop it now. Here we go. The first gift membership. We're about to drop it. All right, we'll do the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Send. First 5 people is yours. Go ahead. Click it. Let's see here. Let me refresh this and see how many people took advantage. 3 out of 5. We got 2 slots left. Let's see. Click it again. 5 out of 5. It took 2 seconds. All right. Okay, we got Crystal got one, Tina got one, Vivi got one, Haley got one, and Meat Hammer. Oh, Lord. What kind of name is a Meat Hammer? Oh, boy. He's probably like, yo, I'm a butcher. What are you talking about, Strategic? Well, I'm a sex crimes detective. My mind is always in the gutter. Meat Hammer. Give that membership back. Whoever's Meat Hammer, you can't have that membership. Meat Hammer. Anyway, congratulations to everybody who got that gift membership. You guys are amazing. Thanks for supporting the channel, for being so excited to be a part of our family. Let's listen to
killing
some more.
him. Next tonight, authorities in Ohio say the man who allegedly rammed his car into a sheriff's deputy, killing him, did so intentionally. The suspect appearing in court today is the father of an 18-year-old killed in an officer-involved shooting on Thursday. The suspect charged with aggravated murder. Here's ABC's Christian Cordero.
Tonight, authorities say the shooting of an 18-year-old captured on police body cam is connected to the death of an Ohio deputy after that teen's father allegedly hit him with a car a day later. Prosecutors say the attack was calculated and premeditated. Cincinnati PD responding to reports of a stolen Kia at an apartment building Thursday morning. 4 suspects then fleeing police. Among them, 18-year-old Ryan Hinton. Body camera shows Hinton fall as he tries to run away. Police say they heard a metal clinking sound they believe was a gun.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun! On your right! On your right! He's got a gun!
As Hinton emerges from behind a dumpster, authorities say another officer firing 4 or 5 shots.
The officer says that he saw the suspect point the firearm at him.
Yes. Just 6 seconds passed between when police arrived and gunshots rang out. Officials say they tried administering medical aid. Hinton was struck twice and died. Investigators saying this gun was recovered from the scene allegedly found in Hinton's possession. On Friday, a day after that shooting and 2 hours after the Hinton family reviewed the body camera footage, according to the family's lawyer, a driver crashing a car into a Hamilton County deputy directing traffic near a commencement ceremony, killing him. The suspect, authorities say, is Ryan Hinton's father, Rodney Hinton Jr.
He should have did a better job raising his son. There's no reason why a young man that's grown up in a house with a mom and a dad married should be turning out the way this young man turned out, with stolen guns in a stolen car, running from police. This is a failure of parenting, an absolute failure of parenting. There's no reason. Statistically, this is not supposed to happen. Statistically, this does not happen. It is exceedingly rare that you see a young man growing up in a household like this man's household for face value, and he turns out the way this young man turned out, unless something is seriously wrong with the parenting that these parents gave this young man. It's the only way I can see it.
Hinton's attorney calling the officer's death a horrific tragedy. At his first court appearance today, Hinton walked through a room packed with law enforcement. He's now charged with aggravated murder. The Hamilton County Sheriff says the deputy's death was a tremendous loss. Hinton Jr. is currently being held on no bail. His bond hearing scheduled for Tuesday. Whit.
Christian Cordero, thank you.
We got Johnny Walker Dread in the building. Go check out his channel, guys. Johnny Walker Dread. We collaborate many, many times in the past. Very intelligent guy. He doesn't like to say it, but he's actually a doctor. I think in engineering. I'm putting all your business out there. Very, very smart guy. Very insightful. Down the middle. Just looking for the facts when he covers these true crime cases. So I would encourage you to go check out his channel. I think he's a really good guy. He says he has 50 videos on Carmelo Anthony. That's another thing. When Johnny Walker gets interested in a topic, he dives right into it. So 50 videos on Carmelo Anthony. So once again, go check out Johnny Walker Dread. Big shout out to him. Let's keep going, man.
Next tonight, authorities in Ohio say the man who allegedly rammed his car into
Let's keep going. All right, let's check out
In the
video.
next 6 seconds, lives would change. Police say the four men jumped from the stolen car and ran when they were told to stop. Now, one of those men, Ryan Hinton, was suspect pointed his gun at the officer, and then I'm going to help clarify what the chief said.
So the body camera is kind of jolting as the officer's running. What that leaves us with is
I don't really see him pointing a gun at him, but once again, these body-worn cameras, they don't show every angle. It just shows you the angle that it's looking at. It's not showing the angle of the human, of the eyes and the head, you know. But I didn't see it. But the bottom line is the kid had a gun on him, you know, and it only takes a millisecond for somebody to shoot you. So, you know, there's different ways of looking at it. But just from what I see there, which is not entirely accurate, that's just one angle, I don't see him pointing the gun at him. It just doesn't change anything. The fact that this father killed this innocent person for no reason. They had nothing to do with the son passing. Nothing whatsoever.
very blurred image, unfortunately. However, based on the officer's interviews, the officer who did discharge his firearm said that when the individual came out between the dumpsters, he had the firearm in front of him. It was in like a bladed position, and it was pointed at the officer.
To this story, police say the man who hit and killed that deputy this afternoon in Corryville is the father of the man shot and killed yesterday by Cincinnati police. Now, whether the man in the car targeted that officer or this was just an unbelievable, bizarre coincidence, that is really yet to be known. That Cincinnati police officer who killed a man yesterday in East Price Hill says that he thought that his life was in danger when he shot the suspect, and we now know the identity of the man who died yesterday. He was Ryan Hinton,
All right.
just 18 years.
Pausing this real quick. So A Obsidian felt sorry for all the folks who weren't able to take advantage of Dr. Cataclysm Patreon gift membership and then my gift memberships. So A Obsidian is such a mensch. She's so awesome. She decided to give 5 free gift memberships. Now I have them typed up here. I have them typed up, ready to go. I've copied and pasted from the email. She did it and emailed it to me. Okay. In 5 seconds, we're going to drop it. Remember, 5 people. 5 people. Let's see what you've got. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go get it. Big shout out to Phony Pin with a $20 super chat. Says, Strategic, your channel gives me hope on a variety of topics. Love your perspective and boldness. Thank you so much, Phony Pin. You are awesome. And you know what? My channel would be nothing without people like you. So thank you for supporting me on this journey, for listening to me, and for believing in me. I do appreciate you. Thank you so much. And big shout out to A Obsidian, and I hope 5 additional people were able to get that membership. If you get the membership, shout it out. You know, let us know. Say, hey, I got the membership. I'm rocking and rolling. Okay. I can't always give by others. So there is a tab for me to see. Okay. So no. So when somebody else makes it, I can't see like how I was able to see so easily who took advantage of my gift membership. When somebody else makes them a gift membership, I don't have access to that. So I don't know who got it. So yo, if you want to show that love and let us know that you received it, okay? So kind, so nice of you guys for being so generous today. My nose is killing me. Let me let this play out and let me go ahead and evacuate my nose because you guys know I have terrible, terrible allergies. So give me 1 second. 1 second. I'll be right back with you beautiful people. Go ahead and put that on.
Years old. He was one of 4 men suspected in a car theft earlier yesterday morning.
Yeah, what the hell going on in my city for real? Shit getting crazy. That boy shouldn't have been in that stolen car, but he was not pointing no gun. He ain't need to shoot that man. I just woke up to this shit. This shit crazy. I woke up and they was talking about rioting in the city, and I see this here. This shit crazy.
He said people were talking about rioting. You know, another thing that happened that I think probably happened is because the father did what he did, I think that it probably took whatever energy out the room people would have had to maybe protest. Because it's like, how do we go protest now when there's an extra layer of tragedy? Because the father went out there and basically killed an innocent man as a result of his son losing his life. So it's kind of like it tainted their movement. it feels like it tainted their movement. But anyway, let's see what else they got, and then we'll get out of here. Just want to get you guys all that the Devil's Playground has to offer, and then we'll call it a day. So this is one of the family members. I've seen this floating around. Says your car wasn't even stolen. It was delinquent loan. The payment was late, so the car lot reported it stolen so the police could find it. You stupid bees. My cousin died for effing nothing. Well, your cousin died not because he stole a car. He didn't die because he was in a stolen car. Your cousin died because he ran away from police and he was in possession of a firearm. And the officer says that he pointed the firearm at him. It was the totality of those circumstances that resulted in your cousin dying. If that person even is really related to the decedent. And of course, they're always going to show pictures of the young person when they were babies. He doesn't even look like he's 17 here. He looks like he's probably like 12 or 13 years old. And they're not going to show what he looks like as a 18-year-old in a stolen vehicle with 4 other thugs and multiple stolen guns. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Well, we're looking at it. And all right, I think that's all we got, guys. Let's see this one. This kind of slows it down. Let's see. See his hand. It looked like his hand is like down here. It's really hard to tell. Really hard to tell. But his hand does look like it's down holding something. It does look like it. Very interesting. Let's go to the rest of the photos. I don't know what they're trying to point out there. Slow-mo the video. It appears a white sticker on the dumpster and a white design on Ryan's shirt before Cincinnati police shot him. I don't know why they're pointing that out for. Why is that probative? Okay. It appears it appears there was a white sticker on the dumpster and a white design on Ryan's shirt. Okay, same thing. Yeah. Somebody's being an amateur detective. It's all good. And I think that's all we got. That's all we got. All right, guys. I really appreciate you guys joining me today. When I get more information, I'll definitely upload it. I would, for those folks who are part of the Patreon now, I think it's like 11 of you. I gave a 5 gift membership. Dr. Cataclysm gave 1. A Obsidian gave, well, I don't know how many Dr. Cataclysm gave. I couldn't see. But A Obsidian gave 5. So quite a few of you guys got gift memberships to the Patreon. I hope you guys enjoy it. And check out the new video we're going to drop where we're going to talk about the truth of Abreu, Kilmar Abreu, the truth about it. Unbiased, you know, untainted by political ideology. The absolute truth of Kilmar Abreu, the Maryland man. So that's going to be, it's not even a long video. I'm just going to give you a quick video talking about it, and I'm just going to give you all the facts. And I entrust you folks as adults to be able to make an informed decision for yourself with just the facts. All right. So guys, you guys were awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's pray for everybody involved because this truly is just a big old tragedy, man. I see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Peace.